Hey, this is Adam Torres, and I'm here to tell you that it has never been easier to start your very own podcast. At Mission Matters, our goal is to amplify stories that matter. That means we want to help you start your podcast because your story matters. We can do this in 3 different ways. 1, join our podcast school and take a free or paid course. 2, visit our resources page where we've already figured out what you need, such as where to host your podcast. Or 3, heck, we can even do everything for you through our podcast agency, including editing for cheaper than you can do in-house. Oh, and no contract, service is month to month. Get started by heading over to missionmatters.com and click on Start a Podcast. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Startup Garage Podcast, your source for all things startups. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Kevin Scrimgeour on the line. He's a digital marketing communications director over at Grub Pay Now. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Well, Adam, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate your attention, and really I'm excited to be here and tell you a little bit more about what we're doing.
Oh, man. So I'm excited to get into Grub Pay Now, like how it was launched, why it was launched, and where you're at with the business overall. But before we do that, let's go a little bit further into your background. So tell us a little bit more about how you got started on this entrepreneurial journey.
So for 14 and a half years, I was the director of marketing for the largest dealer group in the United States. We're doing about 30,000 cars a year. And, quite frankly, I wanted to work with other companies. So I joined digital advertising consulting, and it's been my pleasure to work with literally hundreds of companies, help them figure out the digital space. And we were approached from a partner that we had worked with that had a payment portal platform. And really, quite frankly, they just were sort of underperforming, and they needed sort of my expertise and our team's expertise to generate more traffic and to really bring this site to fruition.
Man, that's awesome. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that brings us sort of up to Grub Pay and how we launched it.
So let's, I think that's a great one. Let's just dive right into Grub Pay. So tell us a little bit more about, how it was launched and why it was launched, I should say. So,
we had this platform, this payment platform, and the client was like, sort of, where do we drive this? And there was, either the shotgun approach or the rifle approach. And we dug down into it. And really, I think it goes back to is that, having a good rifle approach when you launch a business is super easy. We see that on Facebook and LinkedIn. It's an easy, great way to find communities online as opposed to, hey, we're going to grow it, but for right now, we needed to find a super easy, profitable way to do it. We wanted businesses. We knew we were going to have high transactions that were always going to need online transactions, and it really had a need. So we skinned it out as Grub Pay Now. Grub Pay Now is the fastest way to start selling online. We found tens of thousands of restaurants, bars, bakeries, all these businesses out there may have a website, but there's no online menu, there's no way to pay. And so from our analysis, we put together Grub Pay, and really to create online menus and a payment portal for tens of thousands of restaurants.
Man, that's a big deal. And there's some restaurant owners that are going to be listening to this, of course. I just want to make sure that the right types of individuals do connect. I mean, what's the typical perfect fit that you would argue in for Grub Pay Now? Is a single location okay? Is this only like multiple franchise? Like, tell us a little bit more about the inner workings of it.
So a couple of different things. Is one, the solution is built so that we can have any restaurant up and running within 24 hours. None of the 2 weeks.
Did you say 24 hours? Hold on, that is crazy. I can't get my Wix site up in 24 hours if I'm doing it myself. That is.
Well, that's the thing. It's simple. It's drag and drop. If I got a menu this morning, by tomorrow morning, you would be selling online, and it would work perfectly. It's that. Get out. It's the simplest, easiest, fastest way to go. It's that incredible.
That's exciting. So what kind of what kind of responses have you been hearing so far? Because this is a startup podcast, and a lot of times as we're kind of going through through finding your perfect market fit. So you already knew what your market was. You said there's restaurant owners out there, big problem. They're not taking online orders. So now you create I would argue, one of the easiest solutions to get them online and to get them selling online. So what kind of responses have you been hearing now from this market that you're targeting?
So again, I think there's a bunch of folks that are set in their ways, and they're just not going to change, and they're just simply going to disappear, right? There is a group of people, what I call the wonderful middle, where they're open to it, but what you got to do is you have to bring them along and explain to them the process and the benefits. Okay, so those are the people that have either 1 to 5 different locations, or they've got a bunch of different locations, but maybe slightly different menu or different offerings at each location. So what we're able to do is to show them really solve their problem. One, we're up in 24 hours. Their payments aren't held. They get the payments that next day right into their bank account. So there is no delay in the payment. Their transactions, generally based on their volume, really just for same credit card, is generally under 3%. Most of them are averaging around 2.35%. That's generally the best, what I found in the industry. The trick to it is that it handles multiple locations. So if you have, sub shops and you've got 3 of them, we can put up to 3 sub shops. They all go to the same menu, and you just simply select it. In addition, we allow for delivery area. If it's a delivery area, we can set the delivery area. We accept credit cards, cash at pickup, PayPal, and Apple Pay. So the solution is it's tailored, it's very specific to restaurants. It's not like, oh, we've got to program it. Oh, it's not set up. Oh, we didn't think about that. Today, it's ready to go. And what I would say in terms of launching a business, before we came to market, we talked to restaurant owners, and I had to go and sit down and listen to restaurant owners, understand what their concerns were. And so prior to launching, we really did our homework, and so we baked in a lot of those issues prior to launching, so we weren't up and then trying to fix things.
So tell us a little bit more about the plan going forward in terms of scaling and geography. Like, where's this available? Like, give us some more of the blueprint.
Sure. So we launched it really since we're all here in the Mid-Atlantic. We launched it in Washington, D.C. Let me tell you, there are more restaurants than I ever imagined in Washington, D.C. I'm like, man, this is great. But we launched it sort of the Mid-Atlantic area, D.C., Baltimore. We sort of got our footprint in there. Part of it, if you're launching a business, we found that having a really defined target, knows we defined our target and we defined our geography. And so we weren't spending thousands of dollars. We really could blanket this area with our advertising dollars. And then that gave us the number of eyeballs that we needed really to generate sales. So there's it's a nice platform, but at the same time, we had to sell it. And so by limiting it to restaurants, and we were very specific in terms of their size, number of employees. So we kept narrowing it down, and as a result, we were able to, when people were searching for those things, we were able to own that search. And as a result, we got started real quick, and now we're seeing more referrals. Where we're headed, is, I'm sorry, go ahead, Adam.
No, where are you headed? I want to hear where you're headed.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to continue to roll this out. We're going to go up and down the East Coast, basically up and down 95, and as we sort of earn and turn, right? So you earn, you can pay for advertising, you earn, so we're going to earn and turn on growth. As we get more customers, we're going to spend more in advertising. We're going to go up and down because generally I find that people that are in Washington have restaurants in Richmond to another market. So we're going to sort of jump down 95 and up 95 by market. We're going to target city centers because those are the people that need this service the most. We're gonna do it that way. Then really the next game plan is once we get to about 10,000, we're going to start to sell them other services, and those are going to be the marketing services, paid search, social media. So we're going to start to expand our product offering specific to restaurants and bakeries and coffee shops and all those brick and mortar type of businesses. So it's really growth, then it's going to come into additional services.
Man, this is exciting, Kevin. I'm excited to watch this company grow. And one of my favorite things about hosting this Startup Garage podcast is really just hearing from, the blueprint and the plans. And I think when people listen to this, it's just helpful for people to see how other businesses have grown and kind of give them ideas for what they can do for their own. So appreciate you giving us some insight today, Kevin, on what you're doing and also the plans going forward. That being said, so if somebody's listening to this and they want more information on GrubPay now, or they want to learn more about or to follow your work overall or digital marketing, I mean, what's the best way for them to connect with the brand and the company?
So you can just go to grubpaynow.com and you can fill out a contact us form, or you can find me on LinkedIn at Kevin Scrimgeour at LinkedIn. Just search Kevin Scrimgeour and LinkedIn, and I promise you I will show up and you can look at my article and look at my articles. Or you can also email me personally at kevinscrimgeour@gmail.com. And I'd love to connect with anybody. If you've got questions about digital marketing, restaurant, or really anything that has to do with digital marketing or advertising, I'm your guy.
Love it, man. Well, hey, Kevin, awesome having you on the podcast today. Appreciate you coming on and, again, sharing some of your strategy. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget, subscribe to the podcast, leave me a review in the Apple iTunes store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Startup Garage, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you have going on. And, Kevin, thanks again for coming on the show.
And as always, thank you for having me on.